everyone, and welcome to a special episode of Haunt Talk. In today's review, it's not going to be much of a review. So we'll say, in today's episode, we are going to be talking about me and Kim's first ever blackout haunt experience. Now, I know a lot of haunts do these, especially at least around us. Like Chippewa, I know, does it. A lot of them do it. But we went to Ghoul Brothers for our first ever blackout haunt experience, and yeah, that's basically what we're going to be doing today. It's probably a shorter video, just kind of talking about that, what we liked about it, what maybe we didn't like about it, just that kind of thing.
Yeah.
With that being said, before we get into the discussion, make sure you like and subscribing. Make sure you're checking out our merch store, help support us, and all that good stuff, and checking out our Patreon. Also, after this, we're going to be filming our Haunt of the Year review, so that should be coming up very shortly after this is uploaded. So make sure you're watching that to find out what was our, what was our favorite places in all the different categories. But I guess for fun, we'll just refer to the Book of the Dead. Book of the Dead. Book of the Dead. Book of the Dead. So if you're not familiar with what the blackouts are, it's just that. The haunted houses, for the most part, turns off all the lights, and they give you, at least that's how Ghoul Brothers does, they give you one single glow stick, and they are allowed to touch you for this event as well. This is the only night of the year that Ghoul Brothers does it, at least right now.
Yeah, and you had to sign a waiver.
Yeah, which I feel like is definitely more for the, you might fall on things because you can't see.
Yeah. That was my main thing, was it was very dark in there, and yeah, I was worried about tripping on stuff was my biggest concern.
Yeah. I will say, at least with the way Ghoul Brothers did it, it really wasn't as bad as I thought. There were some scenes that were very hard to see, but most of it, there's weirdly enough, the light from the exit signs really shined a lot of rooms enough where you could make out outlines of things.
Yeah.
Because we're also not going to necessarily be breaking this down into categories. We're just going to be talking about the experience overall. So one of the things that was interesting was the actors, a lot of them used the darkness to their benefit with the scares. I mean, as you might expect, but with some interesting ways.
Yeah, for sure. Because, obviously they could hide in plain sight because you couldn't really see them. Yeah. So, instead of, how they normally would hide behind something or in something, they could just literally just be standing there and you couldn't see them. Which, it definitely was to their advantage. And some of them were actually using the glow sticks as well. Yeah,
they are allowed to take the glow sticks from you, by the way, which is funny.
Yes.
Many people tried to take, so we had a girl that has never been here with us before, leading, and, she did a good job. She kept a hold of that glow stick the whole time.
Death grip on
and they tried to take it from her.
Yeah, we told her, do not let go of that
it's
glow
like flag
stick,
football, I told her.
She just was I got it.
Yeah. Because we had a group of, because last time we went this year for the normal show, it was just me and Kim, but we had, Isaac with us, and we also had my cousin and his girlfriend. We all went, so there's a group of 5 of us this time. Now, there were definitely less actors for this event, and, we knew that going in, just because of the nature of the event, they didn't want it to be, I guess, probably a little too dangerous with so many actors with not being able to see anything and stuff. I will say I wish there was a couple more. This is the only time that I've been to Ghoul Brothers. I'm it would have been nice for a little bit more actors, but I think it's just because of the blackness and because we navigated pretty well, so we constantly caught up with the group in front of us, which I feel like is probably going to happen in an event like this unless you're the group that just is terrified to move in the darkness. But
well, I think that's what happened, is that the group that was ahead of us just kept stopping because they couldn't figure out where they were needing to go. So I think that's why we caught up with them. But.
Yeah, we kept catching up with them. But I will say, while I did enjoy the blackout haunt, I definitely think that the blackout haunts might not necessarily be for me. Yeah. Because part of the reasons I like haunts is, seeing the elaborate details. And I thought, I've been to Ghoul Brothers so much, but it was something that I just pretty much instantly missed the entire time.
Yeah.
And I'm just I just wish I could see it. And especially, I wanted to bring my cousin and his girlfriend during the season, but just with schedule alignments, it just never worked out. I definitely don't think this is the way you should experience a haunt for the first time in any means.
No, not at all.
Because Ghoul Brothers is an amazingly set-designed haunt, and not seeing that does kind of suck a little bit. But again, if you're familiar with it, I don't regret doing it at all. I think it was still a fun experience.
No, I enjoyed it just because of the whole the tension of it. It kind of reminded me, remember when Fright Farm had that blackout thing where you had to wear a blindfold? It kind of reminded me of that, but without the blindfold. It wasn't as nerve-wracking because I actually led in this thing, and but it was still kind of like, it was very like, you were very nervous with it because you were like, where am I going? Where, you don't know where anything's gonna happen. And I kind of liked the atmosphere of like how the lights just barely shone, and like the way that Ghoul Brothers is, the walls don't go all the way up to the ceiling because it's a very high ceiling building, so you kind of had this like weird glow above it too. And so it was kind of like almost like moonlight coming in just a little bit to like kind of shine your way. Yeah, there were some scenes with like with the fog and stuff that lights from like the little bit of lights that were there, it did kind of have that like ethereal glow in it. Because a lot of the puppets, they still had on and stuff like that, and there were like a couple things that were still on. And there's once in a while you'd have like one or two lights, like the laser that would make like the crocodile scene, that was still on. So like that room was lit by default just because the laser is so bright. But for the majority, you couldn't see very well, but there's only a couple scenes where like legitimately you couldn't see your hand in front of your face, and those were probably the freakiest. And also some of the actors actually had flashlights. And they would shine it in your face real quick and then turn it off. And it would, like, just throw your eyes into chaos, and you would be like, I can't see anything. Like, I don't know how many times I grabbed for the person that was in front of me because I'm like, I can't see anything. Where are we? So I would just grab on and hope that I was following somebody. Did you talk about the glow sticks in people's mouths that they were doing? Did you mention that? I said that they were using them, but I didn't say that they were in the mouth. They were like, they had them in their mouths. And they would like open, and all of a sudden there'd just be, because they would just open their mouth and snarl, and there'd be a glow stick in your face. I don't know if that's the best thing for them to be doing, but and then I don't know what's in glow sticks. Something. And he tried to give it to us too, and we're like, no. He's like, it hasn't been in my mouth, I promise. And I'm like, I just watched it. I just watched you spit that out. The actors, of course, were cantankerous as ever. They know us, so they followed us a lot, saying our names, and that kind of thing. He wasn't there that I saw last time, but they have this guy, he's like a zombie Q actor, but he's the most disgusting, like, melted flesh zombie, like, mask, prosthetic thing you've ever seen. Gosh. And it was probably one of the funniest things. So right next door to Ghoul Brothers is a Subway, and the guy was taking out the trash, and, like, the actors just started tormenting the poor guy that was trying to take out the trash for his closing shift, and I just thought it was so funny, because the reason we were just kind of standing there watching this was after we got done, the one girl in our group was taken back and just had to go do the haunt all by herself. And so we kind of had to stand there for 15-20 minutes. I didn't time it because I didn't want my watch on, because I didn't want anything that could make a glowing light, so I didn't take my watch. But I would say it probably did take us longer than normal just because of the nature of the event. So I'd say it probably took us 20 to 25 minutes to get through. Probably, not for sure, but... Yeah, just because we had to stop and, like, readjust where we were and stuff like that. And then the group that was in front of us was stopping and stuff like that. It was a lot of fun. More on that zombie guy. He was, like, my favorite watching, because he was, like, taking the whole zombie thing way too seriously. Like, he was one of those slow-moving zombies. And, like, quite literally, he would just take his time getting towards you. And it was just like, oh, he's going to come get us. We better walk a few more feet. He might, miss us. It's funny. It's kind of hard to do shout-outs for the actors in the haunts because we couldn't, see much besides the dark silhouette. As always, they did a really great job. They did get us quite a few times. A lot less scares than, like, the normal season, just because there's a lot less actors. But you do have the added freakiness of just being in the dark, not knowing where you are, which... and no fault to this event at all, because that's what the event is, but that is my least favorite part of haunted houses, so it's just that, but the whole haunted house. So that's probably, like I said, and I knew that going into this wouldn't be, like, my favorite type of event, but, like, it's the first time we've done it, and I liked it, and I would like to do one, other places in the future as well, but it's not something I would run out to do. No. Now, what we are excited to do for special events are, unfortunately, Ghoul Brothers isn't doing one because they don't really have heat there, but the Christmas events. Yes. We're going to try and get to a couple of those. Now, the bad thing is we usually can't do many because most of them all go the same weekend, like the same 1 or 2 days. But we would like to go to Blood Prisons again because we did theirs in, I think it was 2021 we did theirs. Yeah, I think you're right.
I think that's when we did theirs, I believe. And then hopefully Nightmare Cleveland. Well, Nightmare Cleveland's an easier one to do because it's just really close.
Yes.
I don't know if there's any others we'll do. No, we do want to try and get to Factory of Terrors. I don't know for sure if we're going to do their Christmas haunt event, but they have that Christmas event that's going on through like all in November and December, so we should be able to get to that.
Yeah.
And also, if you want to get in the Christmas spirit and like haunted houses and theming and just really cool things, check out Castle Noel in Medina. We do have a vlog on that it's been actually like 4 or 5 years ago now at this point.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Because it was before the Panini. So you should definitely go there, even if, like, Castle Noel is so great if you're into, because most people that are into haunts are like into Disney and theming and stuff like that. But yeah, Castle Noel is just an amazing place to go to. That's not far from a lot of you if you're watching this channel. But obviously for this year, if you're watching this talk about Ghoul Brothers Blackout event, you won't be able to go this year. But they tend to do this pretty much every like the final day of operation. So I would recommend that you check it out. If you're watching this in 2024 and they're doing it, I would do it there.
Oh, for sure.
The one thing I would say, I would like a little bit more touching in this event. I barely got touched at all. I got like a finger put in my ear in the queue line, but like none of the actors, they might just pat me.
Yeah, it was really about like some of them were just blocking the walkway and I would have to squeeze past them. But like inside the haunt, I didn't get a lot of like grabbing or anything like that. It was mostly outside, in the queue. Where like people were like coming up and putting the finger in the ear and doing other things like that. But inside the haunt, I didn't really get that much. It was just really about like kind of brushing up against people and stuff like that.
I would really like for them just to eventually start offering a touch pass, or even if they want to do a trial, do like a touch night or two with the lights on. And I know they've played with that idea before, but I think that they could be successful with it. And I understand the concerns, but I think they could do it there. Even if the normal season just allowed the touching that they did in the Blackout event, because it wasn't much, but it was enough to break the boundary where with all those actors, if once in a while you're getting touched, it just adds that little element. It's the only thing about Ghoul Brothers and the amount of scares you get back to back, and like especially like the normal like season, is that by the end you're kind of numb to jump scares because you've just experienced literally 100 of them, and you're like, oh, there you are again. Oh my god, you know what I mean?
Like, there you are.
So like it would be kind of cool if they had that, just even if it was like a light touch thing, so just kind of break that wall down just a little bit more. But again, there's definitely positives and negatives to doing the whole touch thing. But like I said, I think it was a lot of fun. We just wanted to make a little short video about it, just because this is the first time we've been to one. Have you been to the Blackout ones? What do you think? What's your favorite one you've been to? And make sure you stay tuned for the Haunt of the Year video. This one might be short, but I don't know how long that one's going to be, but it always is really long. So and of course, just because haunt season's over doesn't mean the videos are going to stop. We'll have probably till from like to the end of the year, it'll be less videos, but we will have the Christmas videos come up, and then at the beginning of next year we'll probably start doing the whole ghost hunting thing and stuff like that. So if you aren't super familiar with the channel, we do more than just haunt reviews. We also do like other spooky stuff. We've pretty much moved the channel to spooky stuff now. It's because we were doing food reviews, but no one watched that. So we typically stick to spooky stuff. So real spooky and fake spooky. So yeah. But thank you very much for watching. And again, make sure you like and subscribe, and make sure you're also ring the notification bell so you don't miss any future upcoming videos. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.
Bye.